Hello everyone, this is Red Robot, back with another terrible tactic, the Mangler attack. This loadout consists of the Cow Mangler and the Panic Attack, and the basic combo is to disable a sentry using the charge shot function of the Cow Mangler, then finish it off with the fast firing speed and reload of the Panic Attack. Now my first impression of this loadout was really negative. Honestly, I didn't expect it to work at all, but there are some synergies between these weapons that really surprised me, and engineers had no idea how to deal with their buildings being disabled from range. What makes this combination so good just comes down to how it patches up the main weaknesses of the Cow Mangler. Without the Panic Attack, disabling a sentry was an incredibly risky and mostly pointless endeavour. You have to give up all of your reloaded ammo, and you move very slowly while charging, making you vulnerable to headshots, backstabs, in fact, all manner of enemy attacks. The main reason why disabling sentries was unrewarding was because once it was disabled, well, what could you do? The Cow Mangler deals next to no damage to buildings, and there wasn't a secondary that could effectively deal with them. Well, until now. The Panic Attack works so incredibly well in this loadout, for a variety of reasons. First of all, the rocket jump you perform to get to the sentry you have stunned, as well as any chip damage you receive on the way, lowers your health. This is incredible, since it will only increase your firing speed. With your health low enough, you can destroy a disabled level 3 sentry in an instant. This is really the only way you can make use of, reliable use of the shotgun's mechanic, as the sentry can't exactly run away or shoot you back, since you've already taken care of all of that with the Cow Mangler. The downside of having no shells loaded when you pull it out is also kind of irrelevant, since you can simply reload it in midair on your way to the sentry, thanks to that reload speed buff and the much faster switch 2 speed. I'm just so glad I found a way to finally make the Panic Attack really pull its weight. I know you skeptics out there will be thinking, oh, so what? It's still not better than the direct hit at taking out sentries. And, well, you're mostly right, of course. You're very smart after all. But the Cow Mangler does have a series of awesome advantages over the direct hit. First of all, the charge shot has the potential to disable multiple buildings at once, and the splash damage provides mini crits and sets players on fire, which is great for making them freak out and providing a distraction for when you jump in. Also, the Cow Mangler is nice for sentries that are being wrangled, as their massive health pool can sometimes be a bit of a problem for the direct hit, and the Mangler can make them just sitting ducks. Outside of sentry destruction, yeah, this loadout is pretty bad. The initial reload penalty of the Mangler is awful, and often messes up my timing when it comes to rocket jumps. Taking lots of self damage is good for the Panic Attack, but not so great for survival. This is a loadout with only one purpose, to disable and destroy sentries, and in my opinion, it does that extremely well. As for your melee weapon, the escape plant is your obvious choice. By the time you get rid of a sentry, you'll often be too low to escape with a rocket jump. But I've just realized the potential of the Equalizer with this loadout. At critically low health, the Equalizer could act as a great finisher for a sentry that's already been weakened by 4 rounds of Panic Attack lead. Definitely something to look into if I ever revisit this loadout again, which I probably will, since it's shaping up to be one of my favourites. Another weird option would be the whip. You could use it in order to get a speed boost while charging your shot to get more distance, but I doubt it would be more useful overall than the 2 options I've already mentioned. Interestingly, the one area this loadout struggles the most is against multiple sentries, in a situation where sentries are covering one another, and you can't just jump in to get into the Panic Attack's optimal range, which is point blank. In this situation, I found myself constantly charge shooting the most vulnerable engineer, disabling his buildings and dealing a tremendous amount of damage and afterburn to anyone silly enough to stand around his sentry and dispenser. This amount of pressure and disruption was usually enough to let my teammates deal with his building, so I could take out the more well-defended one solo. Since we're expecting a whole lot of new balance changes in the next gunmetal style update, I may as well leave my 2 cents as to where I think these weapons should and could go in the future. The initial reload penalty on the Cow Mangler is brutal, and it really makes using this weapon a chore, especially if you're using it for its coolest feature, the charge shot. Tweaking the other stats to remove this penalty would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, honestly, I've got really no idea. The theme of the Cow Mangler is so wild that they could really go anywhere with the stats. But saying that, I really hope they keep the pseudo-ranged sapper effect, since I found a really fun way to abuse it. As for the panic attack, well, it's the panic attack. As I've said before, balancing weapon across 4 extremely different classes, each with drastically different roles, will always be difficult, but I believe we could push it a little more towards being useful. There is always the danger of Valve pulling an airstrike and giving us something we dread to see and hear on a server, but we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll see some sensible changes that make it more usable and not too awful to play against. Well, there you have it. Once I finally thought I had the weapons and combos in TF2 figured out, something new and exciting always pops out. This combination is a whole lot of fun and provides a new and unique way of tackling buildings. Just the surprise factor alone of obliterating the opposition using these 2 underused weapons is a whole lot of fun. Your team will love you for keeping enemy sentries disabled, and you'll confuse a bunch of players when the panic attack appears in the kill feed. All up, this was an amazing terrible tactic, and I hope you have as much fun using it as I did. Well, that's all I've got for you right now, and I'll catch you guys next time.